Welcome back to Icarus Patchnotes, our weekly Patchnotes discussion. Echo couldn't make it, so I'm here with Carl. Let me switch back over to Discord. Hey Carl, how you doing?
I'm doing good, just chuckling at the picture of week 120.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Guy
very good.
standing in the rain, trying to drink from his canteen, forgetting to that he has his helmet on.
Well, it's obviously a pun because we don't really know how we drink our freaking canteen, to be honest, because you're stuck in a sealed environment. I think I'm not sure. Is it a sealed enviro suit according to the lore? It is, right?
Yeah, cause
It's waterproof.
the air is
Yeah,
toxic. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you're not getting. It's just hilarious. I think it's satire. But yeah, doing good. And you?
not too bad. I'm
Very
doing
good.
not too bad. Right, let's jump into the patch notes, shall we?
Yep.
The water revamp update. Icarus Week 120 update. New water quality and purification process. So we are introducing 3 new tiers of water quality and 3 purifiers to provide more detail to the water purification process. This Week 120 brings a new layer of depth to the water quality system. 3 new water purifiers. We've also adjusted the modifiers applied by different drinking vessels, so hot drinks can be sipped on rather than consumed all at once.
Oh,
Something we've
nice.
talked about
Mm, mm,
multiple
mm.
times before.
That's been some time ago because I remember when we just started out, we talked about how the uh
The hot
the
cocoa,
resources,
for
yeah,
example.
or something, the time it took to actually make this one cup of coffee was like, oh, you get just a single use buff out of it. So
Yeah.
that's actually
So you go to
very
the
interesting.
Arctic with
Yeah.
your thermos with coffee or
And that's
tea
just a
or hot
one-time
cocoa.
use.
It's
Yeah,
a one-time
yeah.
use, and then yeah, not really worth it.
Yeah, especially
This,
also for the buff as well. At the
yeah,
but way back when they introduced it, it was like, well, that's kind of
yeah. So it's a nice buff heating you up, and
well, even
now
the buff
finally,
itself.
finally
Yeah,
it's sipping instead of one-time drink. So finally it becomes viable
multi-use. Yeah.
to actually bring a canteen with a hot drink to the Arctic.
Well, it was just mostly about the fact that, look, it does give you a bonus, right? So it's like consuming a steak, but it took so much more effort to make the cocoa. I remember it was actually a bit, you had to be like 15 or 20 or 30 cocoa beans or something like that. It was
Yeah,
actually quite
a
a
whole lot
bit.
indeed.
It was a whole lot. And then it was like, oh, you just make one cup. And then it gives you a buff, which was barely above anything else. So I was like, no, that's unacceptable. That should be like a 5 use or 10 use item or something like that. But anyway.
We've also got an update on Laika, our upcoming creature-themed update, and the new paid DLC that is to be paired with it. So let's jump in and let's have a read. A couple of notable improvements. Wind turbines will no longer take damage when the selected difficulty is easy. So if you start
Okay.
an open world in easy mode, like
Yeah.
difficulty easy, wind turbines will no longer take damage.
Okay. Fair.
I kinda worked around the whole damage system. Managed to get power running in a different biome than my main base, which is close enough to the main base that if I'm in main base, the power producers in that other base are actually working and providing me power.
Did you get over the swamp wall or not?
Yeah, I got over to the
Okay.
swamp just on the other side of the mountains,
Okay.
which was close enough.
All right.
So, yeah, if you start your open world on difficulty easy, wind turbines will no longer take damage.
Yeah, makes sense.
Uh, for people who want basically the easy gameplay, no challenges, but
Uh-huh.
use it for big buildings and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, good for those players. Wolves no longer howl every time they play their idle animation. This will now only happen about a third of the time.
Okay.
So no
It's a
longer
little
the constant wolf howls, which I
uh,
have seen a few Not many, but a few people complain about.
How is it? I never really had like an issue about them howling, to be honest.
No, me neither.
But
But
it
if
is
you're
nice to have it a little bit rarer that there is a howl, because wolves don't constantly howl.
well,
Yeah.
if you are in a spot where there are a couple of wolf spawns around, uh, being in the Arctic or
Mm.
on on Prometheus, the western side of the grasslands.
Did they change this recently or something? Because I remember when we did our Arctic like sprint runs, we passed packs of wolves, and they sit down to do their idle animation, and they didn't immediately start freaking howling. It was just,
True,
they just on occasion you would hear them, and it would be like, oh, there's wolves in the area. Oh, okay, they're over there, so keep on going. So,
true. But I don't know whether or not it changes. I never had an issue with too many wolf howls. But I
so
have seen a handful of people telling they had like the constant howling in the background.
yeah, okay.
Wild beehives now grant experience and bestiary progress towards bees. So,
I would have expected that to be
yeah,
the case already.
me too. Then again, I never checked it out actually. I mean, I run into a cave, I shoot a shotgun at the beehive, or if I see a bee tree out in the open, I just walk up to it, shoot it with a shotgun. Never look at the experience gained, nor the bestiary progress.
Yeah, I mean, we stopped looking at the XP bar quite some time ago. Only time I look at it is
Exactly.
trying to identify what type of bonus or what type of XP gains on the creature gave you more XP, like a snow wolf versus a deer, etc., etc. But yeah,
Land shark now grants relevant experience and loot. I never got any loot from land shark, but okay.
no, you did, but you just got the
Yeah,
worm or the
the
basic.
normal worm, the cave worm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
vestige. You're right.
Hmm.
Fixed issue where the killed land sharks were not being destroyed on death; they were being hidden. Again,
So
never
they were
had an issue with
collidable.
that. Yeah,
Interesting.
but I've done a whole slew of thumpers, killing land sharks in the process. Never actually ran into a hidden but still existing land shark. So I never had an
I'm
issue with
wondering.
this.
I'm wondering. No, no, but this could also be related to your lag, isn't it? Because if something is hidden, it's still computed.
Ah, that way. Yeah, but then again, what would be computed if it has no hitbox?
No, but it doesn't have anything. Exactly, I know what you mean, but it's maybe a computational thing of because you would imagine like seeing like data or like entries in a database. It's like, yeah, you still have to. It's not relevant because it's not flag enabled, but it still exists. So
True.
it's maybe one or two or 20 or 50 or 100 or 200 depending on it, and that changes how things are sort of queried in the back end, but it's
Yeah,
mostly
maybe.
just maybe something unnecessary. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not you still have, like, imagine you're walking from the swamp zone or just around the corner when it starts loading in your base, but just before your base. If this change would suddenly be like, oh, it doesn't really tank to, the to hell and back basically. So it might be interesting to see what they did.
I'm all for a decrease in lag.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And another one, especially for
Ooh,
starting players, water skins have been buffed to no
yes.
longer leak water.
I
So
think,
you had
yeah,
the sponges you could
yeah, yeah.
collect. They acted as a water vessel, but the water leaked out slash evaporated. The water skins also leaked
Yep,
water, but slower.
yep.
But they would leak and they would empty out over time. This is no
Yeah,
longer the case.
I like it.
Yeah,
I remember this, but it was, yeah, it's definitely a better improvement, yeah.
yeah. So especially for like if you've just started your mission or your open world or
Yeah,
whatever, and you don't have a canteen either spacecrafted or planet crafted yet.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. A leather crafted, a proper water skin doesn't actually have holes in it unless you really. pathetic at making one, but yeah, this
And
should
then again,
actually like
it is like crafted on character. It's a tier 1, so
yeah. I mean, if
it
you
would
think
be a
about it,
very
it's
crude water skin, but
yeah. But you take a rabbit, you tie his feet up, and you basically that would still be able to maintain like probably 95 to 98% of the water.
yeah.
That's not that difficult. This is obviously, unless you stab it with a knife, then obviously yes, it's going to have a hole in it.
So
But
it would only work if you hit it on the head with a club or something.
yeah, there you go, a boomerang basically. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice little buff.
Yeah. Now this week we get water quality and purification. This is actually this week's new big feature, the water quality and purification. Water will now have different levels of quality. So the purity of your source will matter when filling up your canteen. Now we have like 5 different levels. We start out with the worst one, the tainted water. This will be any water source that is not purified, such as lakes or rivers. These sources provide a 15% chance of getting dysentery, regardless if drunk from the source or a container. This has
Hmm.
changed. Before, you only had a chance of dysentery if you drank directly from the source. But upon drinking, it fills up your canteen, and then your canteen was actually safe to drink.
Yeah, yeah, no,
No longer.
which makes sense.
Makes sense indeed. Then the next level, we have rainwater. Rainwater can be caught using rain catchers, and it is of a higher quality than water from rivers or lakes. Rainwater gives a 5% chance of getting dysentery.
So that's different, but no buff changes yet. So that's
No buff
if a,
changes, indeed.
interesting.
Next level is filtered water. This is water that's filtered using charcoal, which eliminates any chance of dysentery but provides no extra buff or benefit.
But you still have the basic buff, which is obviously the
It's
one that we really got here.
the drink buff basically,
Mhm.
but no extra buff benefit, but also
Yeah.
no chance for dysentery anymore either.
Yeah, was there with did they introduce like a single use small charcoal pouch thing so you could
The
like
tier one with a stick and some charcoal, and then you can use it to drink safe.
now technically you could also put your water canteen bottle maybe in a fireplace for like a couple of seconds and then it's boiled and then it's basically disinfected water. Not filtered water, but it should basically then be filtered water level of it's not going to give you the runs if you
Uh,
drink it.
it should be like boiled water and like a kill of all bacteria and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is filtered basically, which is I mean, yeah, the filtered water, which means there's no chance of the dysentery, but no buff, so to say.
yeah, I mean,
But anyway,
I'm not sure they introduced this concept. I
no,
don't
no, I
recall
doubt
having
it.
read anything about it, but
But it makes sense that way because realistically, think about the
true.
way that we would go about starting a mission, and drinking from a canteen. If we had to, if we had, I mean, again, it sounds horrible, but if we had to build some sort of purification system to ensure, because I would imagine there's definitely going to be a weird mechanic where you put like filtered water or you've got your filtered water in a canteen. Great, it's
Hmm.
all good when you're drinking. And then we go up to a direct source and we fill up our canteen again. What should happen?
This
Oh,
this
it
will
goes.
this will be later on in the patch notes.
Okay,
What will
okay, yeah.
happen?
But yeah, okay.
So let's let's hold that.
Carry on,
We
yeah.
will get
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to that.
keep going.
This is
Yeah,
actually mentioned in the patch notes later on. What will
yeah, yeah,
happen
we'll
at
see.
that point?
We know what should happen, but yeah.
Yeah. Next level is treated water. Now, treated water is water that has been through a plumbing and charcoal filtration process on the tier 3 purifier. More info on the purifiers below. Treated water has the buff that it provides a 10% minus 10% in water consumption, and this is interesting, the wording,
Mm,
a minus 10% decrease in stamina consumption. So both last
yeah.
longer. A 10% decrease or a minus 10% increase.
Oh, two negatives. Oh, I
Two
see what you mean.
negatives, exactly. So
Yeah.
the buff is you use 10% less water
But you also basically use 10% less
and you use 10%
stamina.
less stam. Yeah,
But that's not a stam regen. That's a 10% stamina consumption
yeah.
thing.
So
So
you
yeah,
use less stamina, and I assume
yeah.
this is for all actions.
All actions. Yeah, I would imagine that's not too bad. That's actually a nice little buff, I
Yep.
must say. It'll be nice if that transfers to animals. But yeah.
This is something I have not found in the patch notes, and it's something I was wondering myself as well.
Mm.
If you put treated water in the water troughs,
It
will this
should.
have an effect for your mounts as well? But then, if you go that way, you should also go the other way. If you put tainted water in, which is or
Yeah,
rainwater,
yeah.
it should then also give the 5% chance dysentery to your mounts.
Well, actually, now to remember, animals have different bacteria in their stomach lines and stuff, so
Exactly.
that they don't have to worry about the stuff that us weak, frail human beings have to worry about. So yeah.
Especially since the animals are native and we prospectors
Oh,
are
that's also
not.
true. Yeah, that's also true. No, exactly. So yeah, I would accept the fact that if they didn't give them the buff, because for them it's pretty much just normal water. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we have the purified water. This water is purified using plumbed water and an electrical process on the tier 4 purifier. Again, more info on the purifier below. Now, purified water provides a minus 15% in water consumption and 15% in stamina consumption. Minus
That's
15, yeah.
I mean, an extra 5% does sound minute. However, it does all add up. So,
Exactly.
and once you've built the thing in your base, then it's pretty simplistic. So,
Uh, it is gonna raise some questions because now I have like a couple of water pumps hooked up to the water network. The water network also has a couple of storages, like rain catchers are storages. Water barrels are water storages. Uh, I have a couple of sinks, I have a couple of benches, all connected to the water network. They all use what is now tainted water.
but
Uh,
if you, yeah,
you can use those water storages to fill up your canteen from, if I'm not mistaken. I usually do it on the rain catcher, but as far as I know, I can also do it on the water barrels. Now here's the thing: this water being pumped up is tainted water. Rain catchers give rainwater, different water type. They're both considered water providers. Now I'm starting to wonder, like, how can I like make sure those do not mix? Uh, like, I can't go like a water pump to a storage vessel to a rain catcher to another water barrel. Doesn't work that way.
yeah,
A
yeah.
rain
I
catcher
mean,
is no pass through. It's like one
it's
connection only.
yeah, but that's fine because it's just a source of water.
Yeah,
But
but those are two different
you
types
know, of
of
course,
source.
yeah, I
One
know,
for
I know, I
tainted
know.
water, one for rainwater.
I'm guessing it would pretty much be, well, on the electric pump system, it doesn't matter because regardless of your source, the output would be whatever.
Will be tainted
So,
water.
no, if you use the pump,
If I use a
like,
pump, I'm pumping from a lake or a stream.
so it's two separate things. So it's a
So it
pump
is
and,
tainted water. Pump,
yeah,
you put electricity in and it pumps water into the water network.
but you're pumping water into the water network,
Yeah.
right? Which goes towards crops, which don't
Not towards
care.
crops. I mean,
towards your
sure,
kitchen sink.
I for fun put a couple of sprinklers up, but if
That's
I
actually a good
enable
point, but
them,
it goes to your kitchen sink.
they only run for 10-15 seconds. So,
No, but it's a fair point,
but
if
yeah,
because you have your kitchen sink water, right?
yeah. So the kitchen
So
sinks are now being provided with basically tainted water.
that's correct. So it'll be interesting to see, whether or not whilst drinking water from the kitchen sinks, if you have that 15% chance
Yeah.
for
Also,
dysentery. But it's like that. My thing is that it's obviously gone through a pump, etc. There might have been like a small filter, but not really a microbial kind of filter
yeah,
for the source water. But it'll be interesting. It'll be very cool if it actually did work the way that you envision it to work, which is okay. It's tainted water and rainwater as a source. You drink, it takes the lowest quality because that's the highest risk. So
it
it's
will
about
indeed.
cutting out your sources. So then it's like, oh, 15%, 15%, 15%. Okay, it's getting 15%. Decouple the in source towards your kitchen tap or build a new kitchen tap on the side somewhere and just have that fed from the rain catcher, which should be a very simplistic test because, or
Well,
just deactivate it or
the,
deactivate the pump. So have it still connected, but deactivate the pump. So,
all the water in the water storage is currently, as soon as they start up the game,
you're
is straight
right.
away tainted water.
You're right. Because it's
So
also, so if
I
you
will
switch,
I will
yeah,
have to
because if you
like
switch,
disconnect everything, rework everything.
yeah, because if you switch if you literally, yeah, that's a good topic point. It's like you have three sources, which is, your tainted rain and filtered water, for example. Let's say, for example, because there is obviously the rain catcher with a charcoal thing, which will be filtered water, right?
A
So
rain catcher is rainwater. There is
yeah,
no
but
filter in the rain catcher.
there's a higher tier rain catcher that has the filter for the charcoal. It doesn't it?
No,
Oh, is that not existing?
no.
Okay.
Now the
So where does
tier
the
the
charcoal come
next
in?
tier rainwater, the tier 3 collector, I believe, is more storage inside. It can hold more water.
I thought it had the option to consume charcoal to do filtering.
No, filtering is new this week.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, it's just, yeah. If you, I'm wondering if they give icons, but let's carry on reading. Maybe they give an icon of what the type of water condition is in a tank, for example, because it would be quite weird if you change the
Huh?
source from a rainwater to tainted water input that your entire tank just contains quickly switches, or if you had to drain all of the water out of the tank and then fill it up with rainwater
I
to
would
then be like,
say,
oh, it's rainwater, but then just one drop of tainted water instantly changes everything to tainted. So yeah, it's going to be a weird little mechanic.
you have to drain it first.
Yeah, but then the opposite takes an effect. It's like, oh, you suddenly have, the whole thing filled with rainwater, but then for like half a second, you have input from tainted water, and then the entire
Well,
batch becomes tainted
it will turn into tainted water, yes.
instantly. Yeah, so yeah, it's a one-way
Also,
thing, which
you
is
know,
not too bad.
I overthink things
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, no, but it's a true
The
thing. It's like it just takes one bad bacteria to kind of mess up an entire batch. So yeah.
so let's assume I am gonna create multiple water networks, one from the pump straight to the tier 4 purifier. Obviously, I'm gonna go for the tier 4 one.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't I? And from there, I hook up
Story tanks.
some storage vessels and water barrels. I hook up the kitchen benches and stuff. Then the normal benches, right? Glass working bench, you can hook up to water so you can make the reinforced glass. You can hook up your electric furnaces to water for things like the clay bricks so you don't have to put a canteen in. What kind of, that doesn't matter there what
Yeah,
the water quality is, I don't know.
no, I
Uh,
doubt it. Just tainted water should be fine.
Water troughs, as soon as Leica drops, we will get water troughs with water connection. Is it gonna matter which water quality? The
It,
aquaria. maybe you need tainted water for the aquaria.
Yeah, because there's minerals and stuff in there which the
Exactly.
fish
And the
actually
fish
can't.
being native to Prometheus
Yeah.
actually needing those bacteria and stuff.
You see what happens with a fish if you put it into distilled water.
They won't like it, I can tell you
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, I know.
So, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, like, as far as I know, there is nothing for boiling water to improve the quality. So what will happen in a kitchen bench, where you put in flour and yeast, and you have a water connection, so you make
I
bread dough with
obviously nothing
tainted
is going
water.
to. It's not going to bother it at all. Obviously, it's
In
just going to
reality,
produce
you're
the.
gonna cook the bread, bake the bread, so it should kill off the bacteria. But
Yeah, but
it,
that's going to affect the flavor. But to be honest, I
yeah,
think it's just water tick box currently for ingredient there, yes, and that's all they care about.
yeah,
So it's the same thing with the crafting benches and stuff like that. It's not like they're going to say, oh, the quality is there, so therefore I'm going to be a little bit faster because I don't get like clogged up with little bacteria or leaves or whatever have you from the tainted water source. So it's just it has water, yes or no, go.
yeah.
The interesting thing would obviously be is if the like you said for the water troughs for the animals,
And
if
for the
they
aquaria,
obviously
those two,
and the aquarium. Well, yeah, like I said, the aquaria one, yeah, that would actually be quite an interesting one if you suddenly, well, yet again, it's just purified. So giving them purified water in the sense that it's been charcoal, at least like filtered. Well, filtered water. I don't know what
it's
fish would.
purified. It's not filtered. It's
uh,
purified.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. So yeah, I mean, if it's like purified, then yeah, I'm pretty sure the fish wouldn't like it, and then they would just
Yeah.
die. So that'd actually be quite a funny like Easter egg. So you
Yeah.
got your tanks all fixed, and Nemo and Dory and everyone is so happy in their tanks, and you've got your tier 4 Netflix set up, and you're like, oh, here you go, you have some nice, clean, purified water, and then suddenly they're just floating belly up in the tank. Like, no,
Yep.
why? That
Well,
would be
this
pretty
this
funny, actually. That's a good idea.
quite a few implications with this whole water quality and purification system. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
like it.
it's at least it definitely means you're gonna have to put a little bit more like design thought behind your water network
Yeah.
rather than just attach pipe, put your pump, go put it on, and just that's it.
But
So
then I also hope I will be able to somehow see, like, if I look at a water hose,
like the
like, what
yeah
is the quality of the water
quality
inside this hose?
and the tank at the moment, right? Because
Yeah.
that's like, oh, does this tank have good or bad water in it? I don't know. Smell it, taste it, drink from it for like an hour. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Huh.
Probably the water network tool will show you the quality. But
I
yeah.
don't know. I hope so. I can only hope. But yeah, we will have to see. But anyway, so now with the new filtered water, treated water, purified water variations, we have the three new purifiers to achieve these states. So the image above, I think, is showing a tier 1 purifier by the looks of it. It's like simple, no connections to it, so I reckon this is the tier 1 water variant. Regarding the tier 1 purifiers, these run on charcoal and provide filtered water. Two variations, one to be placed in water, rivers or lakes, and one that can be placed in open space to act as a rain catcher. So we will get basically a rain catcher-esque device in tier 1 already.
Which is what gives you the
Filtered.
filtered water. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. I'm
So
wondering if that'll make it's probably like a very small volume of water then, I presume.
true, but
Oh,
right
yeah.
now the rain catcher
Mm,
starts at tier 2. And then a couple of weeks ago we got a tier 3 variant, which
mm.
I say it's a tier higher, but it will give you the rainwater quality.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
now we
know.
have a new one, tier 1,
Lower tier.
so crafted on your person, so uh, you can access it earlier, and it gives you
Hmm.
better water quality, filtered water.
Yeah, like I said, it just depends on the amount of like, because a rainwater rain catcher takes or keeps 15 liters. So this
100,
thing,
100 liter for a rain catcher.
okay.
Yeah, I've been looking enough at those things to know.
Well,
So
I
this
remember
new one,
something was 15 liters. Maybe the tier 2 one is 15, and the one that you've been looking at is a higher tier? I'm not sure.
the tier 2 is definitely 100 liters. I believe the tier 2 is higher level. Either that or the tier 1 cannot be hooked up to the water network and the tier 2 can.
Doesn't matter. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I
there's
mean,
actually, I think you can't hook up the tier 1 to the water network.
yeah, of
It's
course.
possible that
Yeah.
that's the difference between the two. So tier 2
Well, it's
also 100 liter, but you can hook it up to the water network.
okay.
Anyway, tier 1 purifier. When provided with charcoal as fuel, these will produce filtered water.
Once again, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the filter runs out. Does any drop of additional caught rain? Oh no, wait,
Uh,
it's actually a filter. It's not a rain catcher.
I assume it will have like a storage capacity for filtered water only.
Oh, so the rest, if it runs out of charcoal, it will just stop collecting.
Exactly. Stop filtering water, so
Interesting.
stop filling up the storage
Yeah,
for
that's
filtered
fair.
water.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Fair, fair, fair. Yeah, yeah, makes
So we
sense.
don't have no
But
tier 2 purifier, we do have the tier 3 one. Now normally you would say tier 3 runs on biofuel, however, in this case a tier 3 runs on charcoal and plumbed water and will provide the treated water quality. So hook it up to your water network, plumbed water, add charcoal, and voila, it will treat water. And again, I assume it will have like some kind of storage capacity, giving you treated water.
yep,
Uh, Plumbing requires connecting up a water network using pipes from a water source, lakes, rivers, or rain catchers, tier 2, tier 3 rain catchers, to the purifier. Yeah, this machine has internal storage for filling and will fill water vessels when placed into the machine's distribution slots. So yes, internal storage. The machine also requires charcoal for the purification process as a fuel source. And the combination of the two, plumbed water and charcoal, will provide treated water. Note there is no output, there's only input and internal
but
storage.
yeah, the internal storage. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you can't put this like somewhere as a bridge between the bad water network and the good water network. It
No,
cannot because it has no output. Then we have the tier 4 purifier. This one runs off a combination of plumbed water and electricity and will provide purified water. As mentioned above, plumbing requires a water pipe system, but this machine will also require an electrical source to operate. No charcoal, but electricity. Now, this purifier will fill up a vessel that is placed in its inventory when provided with required electricity and plumbed water, before moving to an idle state when the vessel is filled or removed. Note, it does not say anything about an internal storage.
yeah,
The purifier will sit in an idle state unless it's actively filling a vessel. So if it's filling a vessel, it uses electricity and it uses water. When the vessel is filled up, it's not using electricity and water anymore. This is after
yeah.
the whole electricity and water rework 2-3 weeks ago. Water
So,
produced by this machine will be the highest possible quality purified.
so this basically means all tiers, or basically tier 3 and 4, don't couple on output from device into a destination. So therefore, the input will always remain tainted or rainwater quality
Yeah.
when going into your kitchen sink. So I'm pretty sure, based upon that logic, you can continuously drink the water sink water for the current buff, which is just having, filtered water basically.
Now, kitchen sink, you hook up to the water network. There is no device that
Can't you wash your
outputs
hands?
filtered or treated or purified water into the water network.
Yeah,
Ergo,
but
your
that's what I'm
water
saying.
network will always be either tainted if you have water pumps, or rainwater if you only and only have rain catchers.
I don't know. I actually think, based upon the quick implementation, that the water from the kitchen will basically be like it was before, unless they've thought it ahead and actually do it like the way that you're saying it should be done, which is technically true, but that's something to be seen.
No, like I said, none of the purifiers give do have an
Output.
output towards
Yeah,
water
that's my point.
network.
Yeah.
So your water network
But
will always be bad water.
well, if you think about it this way, yeah, you're usually drinking water from your canteen. Which water do you want to have purified? The water you're drinking, not the water that you're sprinkling over the plants or feeding to your fish.
And the
So
water
yeah,
maybe what the mounts are drinking, unless they need certain bacteria in the water, them being
probably
native
yeah,
animals, etc. It's same for
exactly.
aquaria. But I also might want some better water when preparing food, i.e. kitchen.
Yeah, that's a fair point, like I said, but you do bake it, so technically, but yeah,
Uh,
it's a small thing, but we'll
But
see.
this does also answer the question about water storage. Water storage is hooked up to the water network. Water network is always bad water, be it rainwater, be it tainted, so your water storage will always be bad water as well.
Yep,
Unless
pretty much.
you have a standalone one which you do not hook up to the water network and you painstakingly fill it with your canteen from a purifier.
Yeah.
It will take a long time before you fill it up, because those things, the water barrels hold like 200-300 liters of water.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's gonna gonna cost a couple of rounds before it's completely filled with your canteen.
Yeah, but it's okay. Well, we'll see.
15 liters,
That
by
makes
the
sense.
way, is the water trough.
Yeah, it was at the water trough. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, I was filling up the water troughs. Yeah, from the rain catcher. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's correct. I just remember seeing 15 somewhere. So
yeah. So yeah, with the when playing, you have to get into the habit of filling your canteen only from the
from the
purifier.
machine. Yeah, from purifier.
And so tier 4 purifier has no internal storage. Now, after reading the tier 4 purifier description, I'm wondering, tier 3, the machine has internal storage for filling. Does this mean it will store water, or it has a storage where you can put canteens in, vessels in? It
Well,
might
if you look
actually
at the
be the latter.
picture,
This looks like the tier 4 one actually. Looking at how
uh,
fancy it is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it does look electronic, to be honest. But reading a tier 3 one, it says that the machine has internal storage for filling and will fill water vessels when placed into the machine distributed slots. So it'll
Yeah.
probably be like a rain catcher in the sense that, yes, it has a small internal storage of X amount of liters, which is to be determined, where it will obviously use charcoal and fill that up to create the treated water. And then, you'll get an X amount of fills of your, canteen until you've basically
I hope
exhausted the storage.
I hope it will work that way,
Well, that's
because
what the
filling
description is, yeah.
your canteen Like Echo taught us, like, hey, put in your hotbar, select it,
Yeah, it's instant. Yeah.
and then like insta fill on a rain catcher. You will still be
Yeah.
able to do this because it has internal water storage.
Yeah.
However, if the purifiers do not have such an internal storage, it will mean filling up your canteen will take a bit longer. And now obviously the tier 4 is going to be faster than the tier 3.
Well, I think it's still pretty much doesn't take long to take
Uh,
water and throw it
I
into a
know the
container.
tier 4 is going to be faster than tier 3 based on what I've read on the
So you're
Icarus
saying it's
Discord.
acting like a oxidizer slash oxygen.
Oxidissolver, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, but yet again, that's taking air and putting it into a compressed form. Putting water into from bucket A to bucket B is you take bucket A, you pick it up, you chuck
Yeah,
it into B.
but
It's literally that is the whole process.
that's only if it has a if it has storage for treated water inside the purifier.
Oh, I think that doesn't matter because if you
Because
think about like
if it has no storage for purified water, it
it
means
purifies it as you
you
push
have your
buttons.
vessel of tainted water slash rainwater. You
Yeah.
put it through a filter to treat it,
No, no, no.
and that is not instantly. It will
No,
take
no,
to
no.
actually filter the water.
You just take your canteen, which is half full, you put it in, it switches on and it goes glug, it's filled up. And then you do this, that's tier four. You go to tier three, you put your canteen, which is half full, you fill it up and it goes glug and it's filled up. It
It
doesn't take, it shouldn't take long
it
to
shouldn't
fill
take
up
long,
a
especially
canteen.
on the
It's
tier
like
4
three
one.
seconds. No, but both tier three and tier four should be 3 seconds if there's sufficient storage
Mm,
of the tier three to fill up your canteen,
I
it should
know
take three
for
seconds to
I
fill it
know
up.
for a fact there is some waiting time if involved, and I also know the tier 4 is faster than the tier 3.
Well, logically speaking, yes, the generation of the water of the tier three would be less. So if you
Nah,
had
but
zero capacity in your tier three storage, then it would take longer to fill up your
nah,
canteen.
like I said,
However,
it will greatly depend on whether or not it's actually storing the filtered slash purified water
well, it
in the
says so,
purifier, yes or no.
which it makes
If
sense. It
it
should.
does, it's
It
gonna be
should.
fast refilling. If it
But
does
like I said,
not, that filtration or purification process
no,
will
no,
take some time, but
no,
we will see.
yeah, but that's the thing. It makes sense that yes, tier three has a storage internally built for certain things. So, which would be interesting to see is exactly how big it is, because yes, you might need multiple or one for each person because amount of consumption versus filling. But as long as it's got like, let's say for example, your canteen is a liter, and this purifier has a 1 liter sort of capacity, then
Buffer.
it's or let's make it 2 liters. So it's if it's got enough capacity, it should take 3 seconds to fill up because it has capacity. If it doesn't, then yes, it's going to take like a minute or a
Well,
minute and a half or 2 minutes. Yeah,
we will
we'll see.
see during gameplay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, water vessels this week. Now, to pair with new water purifiers, all water vessels like water skins, canteens, thermoses, etc., they have all received an upgrade. Water vessels will now attach two modifiers when being drunk from. One based on the water quality and one based on the liquid property. Like before you had the tea which gave you the like hey heating up modifier or the cocoa or
Yeah.
the coffee. Now we have two different types of modifiers. We have the water quality, tainted, rainwater, filtered, purified, whatever. And you have the additional properties for the hot drinks. So, water quality and liquid property. Water quality, as defined above, tainted, rain, filtered, treated, or purified. And liquid property varies depending on the liquid, i.e. contains cool water. Indeed, that's the other one. You can turn ice into cool water, which gives you an extra cooling buff. Quite helpful in hot environments. i.e. the containing cool waters, which grants the drinking modifier or the tea modifier, which is like the hot one when the vessel is filled with tea. So 2 new properties. This change also means that items such as tea or cocoa are no longer single-use items. When placed in a vessel, these can now be sipped or consumed over time rather than all at once. This also means that vessels containing them can be placed in the water slot in your environment suit and consumed over time.
Nice.
Now because of this,
Unless, yeah,
unless
unless you have a suit like ours, which only have 4
4 module slots,
module
but not,
slots
no,
without no drinking
exactly,
slot. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Now because of this, the modifiers for any liquid inside a vessel have been standardized to 300 seconds.
Mm.
If a device contains a liquid such as tea or cocoa, the modifier can go substantially longer than this, as every sip resets the counter. Now again, this is
Oh yeah.
when placing your Icarus suit.
Because when you have the canteen in your enviro suit, you sip every 15 seconds
Exactly, so the buff
by
is
default.
basically
Yeah.
resetting itself all the time until
Yeah. Yeah.
the vessel is empty.
Yeah.
Now, the change to the water quality does mean, however, you have to be conscious of the quality of water you are filling your vessel with. A vessel will always default to the lowest quality water applied. So if a device has purified water, but you top it up with treated water, that vessel will now have the treated water modifier applied. As said, it was
Yeah.
mentioned in the patch notes.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
You can always remove all the liquid from a vessel by right-clicking the item and then click empty, or focus it on your hotbar and right-clicking it.
Hmm.
So you're like, oops, I accidentally topped it off with the wrong type of water. You can straight away empty it and fill it again with the proper water.
Which is where the picture comes from the top screen.
Yeah. Now, in addition, and this is indeed one which I had not thought about either until I read about it in Discord. In addition, due to the changes to water, players will no longer drink or fill up their canteens while swimming.
Yeah, which makes sense, to be honest.
Yeah. So before, if you were swimming, it filled up your thirst meter and it also filled up your canteen. Apparently, although I thought they fixed that part a long time ago already. But it definitely filled up your thirst meter. We have seen this happen before. A long time ago when I was still paying attention to those kinds of things. This is no longer the case because imagine you have to swim across a lake or you have to dive into the lake to get to a cave. It would mean you would automatically drink tainted water. Oops.
Well, well, usually your canteens are watertight because not having a canteen which is watertight is kind of defeating the object or the purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, the whole drinking while swimming, or at least filling up your thirst meter, we have seen that happen before.
Yeah, but that was technically a bug, and the filling up of the canteen was a jumped in. That should also technically have been a design exploit bug type of thing. So the fact that it's now being fixed to
Well,
the point that you have to manage it is just the way it should have been from the start. So
well, the advantage was, especially the drinking while swimming, or the automatic
yeah, you
filling
did it
up your thirst
once, and
meter,
then yeah,
uh,
I know.
you had no chance to get dysentery.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. That was
So you were
technically a small
thirsty,
exploit.
and then you didn't want to drink from the lake because you had the chance of catching the bug. You just jumped in the lake.
Yeah, but like I said, that's a very
Yeah, exploit.
exploitative
Yep,
kind of thing. So,
I agree.
it was as thus, and therefore it's now as it should have been. But yeah.
Yep. Picture below, this looks like the tier 3 purifier.
Yeah.
So the one above, definitely the tier 4 one. Tier
Hmm.
3 put water in the top, and then it like goes through a couple of layers filter through charcoal, and at the bottom you
Actually, you
get
can see the storage. You can see the storage right there. The middle layer is the storage, and then you can see the bottom is where we probably put our containers in,
yeah.
and then it'll fill up. So yes, that should be, put the container at the bottom, it fills up like 1, 2, 3, it's filled up if the middle layer actually has water in it. And it would be interesting whether or not it renders that it has like water in it, because that is an
Yeah,
open,
the water level.
yeah, yeah. And what would be also interesting, which would be hilarious, is if you put that outside because it's not covered,
What will happen?
that,
Yeah,
yeah, because then that's no longer filtered water that should then go to treat
rainwater.
rainwater.
Yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, that's
But yeah, you can if you open the new tab, it's bigger, so you can see the charcoal here, and the like put water in here, filters down here. Will it actually show you water coming out of these hoses?
it should.
Will the water level go up and down?
That would be pretty cool if it
And
did.
then at the bottom indeed you can fill your water vessels. This does indeed indicate there is a water storage here with filtered water. So as long as there is water in this storage, you should be able to still, I don't know, insta fill. In theory,
No,
insta
no, no.
fill your
Like I said,
canteen, but
it should take 3 seconds.
yeah,
I think both the tier 4 and the tier 3 will take about 3 to 5 seconds to just fill up your water canteen if there is water for both systems, and there
yeah,
is obviously sufficient capacity in the tier 3. That's what I meant.
but
So
yeah, this,
obviously, yeah, if it doesn't, then yeah, it'll take much longer.
but
So you
this
need to
does
have
mean
it in
I am
place.
gonna make a tier 3 one as well,
Yeah, I would
just to see
just
what it
yeah,
looks like and like what the
moving it
water level
outside to
does.
see exactly, moving it outside
I could do
to
that as
see
well.
would be a good test as well, just to see, because if they really thought ahead, that would be a nice little, yeah, well, put your thing inside then, kind of thing.
Well, we will see.
Hmm.
Anyway, future Leica. Now, last week we started talking about a big upcoming free update, Leica. This includes the various features that are coming along with it. And if you want to read up on those features, check out last week's post. We'll also be detailing some of these over the coming weeks. Now, alongside Leica, we'll also be releasing our Creature Comfort DLC. This is for those who want to support us in our ongoing development of Icarus, and will feature a variety of new items for your mounts and tamed creatures. And some more content we can't wait to share with you. Don't wait, just share it already. Actually, if you want to wishlist the DLC, you can do so over on the store page. You can like wishlist it already. But this is so like it's gonna be a free update, not a paid one. The Creature Comforts DLC is not like a big update like New Frontiers, but this will be some extra like the Architecture DLC. Maybe some extra saddles, something like that. And like the Architecture DLC gave you like the geode lamps. Was it the Architecture DLC? Actually, the bundle. So the Interior Decorations DLC, the Industrial Furniture. This is just some visual new stuff. Uh, kind of only functional in those is like the geode lamps in the Interior Decorations pack. Plus the Art Deco bed is like the best bed in games. So it gives the best buff. However, you can. It's like just slightly better variations of items that are free in the normal update.
What's he
Not
talking
really
about?
a
It's
pay to win.
obviously pay to win. It's obviously pay to win. You have to spend money to make yourself the best ever. So it's completely pay to win. It's unacceptable.
Only so pay to win, right? When
It's
do you win?
joking.
When do you
I'm
win Icarus,
joking.
right?
I'm
But
joking.
when do you win Icarus?
You win Icarus when you solo the Scorpion King.
Okay. Oh yeah, geode lamps are definitely gonna help there. but they gonna trip you, and then you fall over, and then the Scorpion King basically runs over your dead corpse.
Yeah,
So it's gonna
but
help
man,
the Scorpion King.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so I reckon this will have things like those fancy cells and stuff.
yep,
That's something I am gonna wishlist. Cause I like fancy, and I
yeah,
like the game, and I want to support them. So, but everyone is free to choose whether or not they want to buy this DLC. I know some people, Carl, who are like, yeah, no,
yeah.
but
No, because
like I said, all
realistically,
them. It's just
it depends
everyone is free to
on
decide whether or not they want it.
Of course, but it also just depends on the level of player that you are. If you're an infrequent gamer such as myself, who used to play Icarus on the beginning phases quite, extensively, and having good fun, but perhaps it just, you know, phased off a little bit, and I mostly only play it, or actually purely only play it from a social perspective with you guys, then it's a different thing.
Yep.
Obviously, I discussed my opinions on the Prometheus expansion and how, because of the or very
Pro player
positive,
approach.
yeah, very pro-consumer approach, that they obviously deserve my money, which they do, obviously. So, yeah, I gladly gave them the money for that. But when it comes down to optional cosmetics, I'm never really a person that's, after such things. And the
Yeah.
same thing with the other expansion packs. But
And
definitely, if you,
on the other side, you have players like me. I play it about on a
oh yeah,
daily basis. So
correct.
yeah,
And yet again, it would be nice actually if there were a slight, or I mean, yet again, I would even say even if there were, like I said, there is no win aspect to
exactly.
Icarus. So therefore, even if the saddle for the Moa, which is from the Creature's Comforts pack, it gives him or her, depending on your animal, more movement speed or better stamina, then it would make sense because it's a better engineered, better crafted, more comfortable, luxurious type of seating. So it's a small thing which makes people envious.
And
So
then again, I will be crafting a couple of extras so Carl can put one on
uh,
his mount as well. I mean,
I would
right?
I would say no. I would say no. I wouldn't use it. I'm one of those stubborn people. I would be like, well, if I wanted the fancy, saddle, I need to
Okay.
buy the thing.
So I've put down a couple of the Art Deco beds for us to sleep in.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will
No, I need to
replace
go
your
back.
bed back with like
Please do.
a bedroll.
Yes, no, not a bedroll. You can put there is a bed, isn't there?
Yeah, there
There's
are
not the
multiple variants. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just make the normal bed actually. Yeah, that's actually something that I would actually suggest you to do, please. That's actually a very make my bed the less nice bed. That's actually
Nah,
yes. That's
nah.
I'm serious.
I'm following the pro player approach. Like
No,
you're allowed to play Prometheus as long as the host
yeah,
has bought it. You're allowed to
yeah,
sleep on the Art Deco bed as long as the producer has bought it.
yeah,
So
yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I mean, yet again, I understand your concept, but in fact, like I said, my skill will make up for the lack of thing you guys. So it's good.
yeah, like skills of some people allow them
Fly off the ledge.
to
Yes,
take on
yes.
a scorpion boss on their own, whilst
What you, what you
the others
talking
can just
about?
sit back and
That
relax and
that's
laugh.
that Scorpion boss never had a chance with me on the field. It's you saw how he was running after me. He was just like, I need to get
Indeed,
rid of
he
this.
never had a chance of dying.
Yeah, well, don't go too specific here. I just said he never had a chance. So yeah,
Yeah, alright. Okay.
change
Yeah,
one.
man,
All right.
that's something that's never gonna be forgotten, my man.
No, 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 that's good. It's a fair point. It's not my fault the game devs suck at making a bolt action rifle, which is like I move about 2 feet a second, or like a minute if I'm busy doing a bolt lever action. So realistically, it's if they
Yeah.
I mean,
They should have made a bolt action rifle with a magazine of 1,000 bullets and
no, 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 no,
500
no. It should no, 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 no. It should
a
still
rate of
be
fire
bolt
of
action.
500 a second. Or
It should be bolt action, but the thing is that cutting my movements. Actually, we never actually measured what the speed penalty of the reload action was.
the
It
thing
was
is,
quite
you can
significant.
yeah, but you cannot open up your inventory whilst reloading, so you can't see the exact number, unfortunately. There are numbers, I think,
Ah,
somewhere, but
ah. Oh, well, we could do it. We could technically compare it because if you have like over encumbered, like if you even with your character, if we get you over encumbered without your knees and you would just normally walk,
mhm.
your speed would probably be like 250-ish, I'm guessing. Maybe
Yeah,
if you
we
load
can
to
do some comparisons, but
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
exact
So there would be
numbers,
yeah.
it's
No, no, no.
tougher.
But
And I
I would guesstimate my speed when I'm reloading the bolt action. And yet again, we're talking about my rifle character, which was Speedy Gonzalez build with, pretty much
yeah.
all the gun skills maxed.
Here's a
Um,
question: reload action, is this a
it was a long
is
time.
this a flat debuff? Is it
Uh,
a percent
that's
debuff,
that's also a good question.
or
I
also
actually, yeah.
possible during reload you have a fixed speed?
Yeah, that's the thing. It might be the fixed speed thing. I need to double check that as well. That would also be a good test at some point.
So there are
Because,
three possibilities already. So from the top of my
yeah,
head.
yeah. Because I can't remember. All I remember is that yeah, it was drastically noticeable,
Yep,
and
I know.
that's basically which destroyed the usability of the item. Because if I was able to move, I wasn't really aware that it was going to be that bad. I haven't played with
Well,
that many rifles
do
at
you
point, but yeah.
recall that last time we took on Scorpion Boss, the two of us together,
Mm-hmm.
where if the Scorpion Boss was going after me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking about the charge, but just like
Yeah, the
walking
chasing
behind
part.
it,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chasing part, he had the same speed as me. When
He
he was
was,
chasing you, he has the same speed as you, whilst your character has a higher speed than mine.
yeah. I
So,
mean,
even if you were able to like keep your speed whilst reloading, it was still would have been quite tough.
no, no, no. But I would be able to move out of his attack animation by the time he would, because he would stop, and
Yeah,
I
but
wouldn't be looking back at him, and I would be keeping moving away from him,
yeah, but
reloading.
you'll have to move backwards to shoot, which is always slower
No, no,
than
no, no. You
moving
don't. You
forward.
jump, look back, shoot, and then look
Ah,
back
that way,
forward
okay.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You don't
true,
look. You
true,
don't turn
true,
around and then shoot. You jump forward, turn around, shoot, go back forward,
true.
and go. That's what I wanted to do, but
So you could have
like I
done
said,
it with a hunting
yeah,
rifle, and
easy.
then when the magazine is empty, you just walk to the edge of the plateau. There you reload because he's no longer following you there, and then you
Uh,
go back in. This
the
is
only thing that was
actually a way to actually solo Scorpion King then.
Well, for me, it's just my speed was about 550, so theoretically I should have been quite significantly faster than him. Because, yeah, I remember that you were saying, yeah, I should be outrunning him, but I mean, the speed difference between you and me isn't like worlds apart, but it is to the degree where,
Yeah, but he did not catch up to me, and you were not able to create a bigger distance. So somehow
uh,
he matches his speed towards the person he's chasing.
well, that would be interesting to see, to actually try and see and measure if that is an actual. I mean, it would make sense to some
We
extent.
did.
I mean,
He was
like I said, we
chasing.
would,
At some point, he
yeah,
was chasing you. You were
no,
not
no, 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 no,
able
no, no.
to increase the distance.
Well, actually,
And
that's a
at
good
other
question.
moments, he was chasing me, but he did
Yeah,
not gain on me either.
yeah. The only way to test that would be to take like to remove your bow from your speed buff when you're but so if you were
True,
to
true.
run with a knife when he's on you and he would and just run in a straight line because that's like quite a bit of like 15% less movement speed. And maybe also remove a couple of the speed modules to just see like you're actually like almost a proper 100 points slower than me.
Yeah.
And then if you were to run and he would and just focus on running away, and he would literally just be on your tail constantly, not actually attacking. Versus me, the same thing kind of situation, then yes, he
So
would be matching.
something we will have to test once you're
Yeah,
able to game again.
yeah, true, true. Not a bad idea. But let's go
Anyway,
through the
yeah.
change logs, right? Yeah.
So picture
Or
here does look like the tier 1
oh,
purifier on land.
yep, that does look like it indeed. Yeah, good one.
So next
I was
week,
wondering
quality.
what that
Sure,
was.
yeah, yeah. We had one on the water, and I think this is the one on land.
Yeah,
Looking at like how crude it is.
yeah,
So yeah, next week we will get some quality of life updates. Next week we're planning to do a quality of life pass headlined by our bench consolidation improvements. This will include doing a pass on all benches at each tier and making sure that tier 4 variation of a bench can fully replace its tier 3 counterpart.
yeah.
Uh,
This is the
and
thing that
I've
I
seen a
mentioned before.
couple, I don't
Mm.
know from the top of my head exactly which ones are more, but I believe in kitchen benches you still need a tier 3 to make the pills, I
Like certain
believe.
things, yeah. Well,
Something
it was
like that.
also, but it was also in one of the crafting benches. I wanted to make something, and it was supposed to be in the tier 4, but it was on in the tier 3, I think. I can't
Uh,
remember what it was,
I'm
but it was like
thinking
the
anvil,
longbow, or it was like,
bow, long bow, and
yeah,
possibly the flint arrows, only in the anvil.
yeah,
Where the forge is supposed to be the tier 3 variant, and the foundry the tier 4 one.
yeah, yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, and pass on all the benches at each tier. So hopefully that will fix this. Because I still do have a couple of older benches in my base, because they're the only ones where I can do certain things. So
Yeah, makes sense.
anyway, if you like what we're doing with Icarus and you want to support the continued development, consider purchasing one of the DLCs for a few bucks. It would mean a lot. And yes, 130 euro for the complete set. Mm, you might not consider a few bucks, but then again, this is like everything: base game, sticks, new frontiers, the outpost bundle, the architecture bundle, like everything. The architecture bundle alone, yeah, a few bucks, less than 32 euro. Uh, these are the bundles, and then you have like the separate items, like a separate outpost item, or the new frontiers expansion, or the sticks expansion, or yeah. Like I said, I'm playing almost daily. I like the game. I want to support them, so complete the set for me actually will be zero, because I already have everything, and definitely creature comforts is gonna be added as well as soon as it comes out, because I want to show them my support as well. Like the outpost, I don't play outpost. Still, I got them because
Yeah,
of support reasons. Anyway, changelog, new content. So the water rework was merged to the trunk, to the like production branch. Fix some issues with a tier 4 build with saved energy water JSON. Luckily they fixed it, otherwise we wouldn't have had a new update. Water trough now officially fills. Water plane goes up and down with fill amount. So
okay, yeah.
last week they fixed the issue where it wasn't showing any water plane anymore at all, but
And now
it
it's
was always
filling.
an either it's empty, it has no water, or there is
Or it's
the water
full.
plane at the top, like there is water in it.
So add one drop and it's just full. Yes,
Exactly.
nice. Okay.
It,
Mm,
it shows full, but yeah,
nice.
now the water plane goes up and down. Nice.
So that would actually make this, that line does tell me, for example, if they applied the same mechanics to the tier 3 purifier, that we should see it like pouring out and filling up and looking pretty, almost like a water feature in your home kind of thing.
Exactly. Tier 1 purifier now has to be placed outdoors and will provide purified water buff. This does imply, by the way, that the land-based one can only be filled by rain.
Correct.
And not like get fill your canteen from the river, empty it in the tier 1 purifier, and then you will. No.
Well, technically, maybe you could still.
Then you don't need to place it outside. No, it has to be placed outdoors.
Fair. Good point. Well, I mean, you could probably try to put it indoors still. Or would it be like, oh, this is it's being
I reckon
obstructed?
it will be the same as the new smokers.
Or is it? Okay.
Like, yeah, nice that you place it inside, but now you can't use it.
Okay.
A rain reservoir tier 3 now applies rainwater to containers. Yeah, there's the new ones, the tier 3, which you can hook up to the water network. Adjusting location of audio for the water trough tier 4, lowering volume. We don't have no tier 4 water troughs yet, but okay. Tier 2 purifier now works as intended, i.e. there is no tier 2 purifier.
Yeah, correct.
But okay. Remove the processing component because it wasn't needed. Fix generator in its initialization. Yeah, if it's not processing water, then you don't need the processing component in the code here. Fixed deployable camera rotation was not sticking for host, so this ties to the feature a couple of patches back, where you could in the settings toggle like, hey, if you open a bench, will it like move the camera to like look directly at the bench, yes or no? Which, if you were a host, you had to set this option every single time if you wanted to disable it. They fix it. Good. Added camera to tier 2 purifier for interact positioning. So move the camera position to. But indeed, again, mentioning the tier 2 purifier.
I'm wondering if that's just tier 3 by typos. I'm guessing there's a tier 3.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Adding BP data to play audio on the tier 4 purifier and adding Kiwi bestiary events to be added to data table. Interesting
Event.
how this is.
Event. It says event, which means we're gonna get the giant kiwis. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
I hope so. I hope so. But interesting that these two are in one bullet point.
Yeah, it's a bit of mixed up there, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it would be nice indeed if we get like the big kiwi. I would so love that.
Like I said, I just think it would be hilarious. It's
Yep.
it is a freaking alien world bioengineered, like weird adapted alien things. So having a giant kiwi, which was just, oh, my genetic molecule said that I was going to be small. I know what, I'm going to be gigantic. Oh, okay, fine, small difference.
Yeah. Oops. I said one bit wrong on the genetic code for size.
The comma was a decimal dot, not a decimal comma. So yeah.
Oh, I thought we were using imperial system instead of metric.
Yeah. Exactly.
Something like that. Actually,
All
the
right.
reason why that Apollo rocket exploded. But
Yeah,
okay.
that's correct.
That's off topic. Removed stats of water alterations so players don't get stats by holding container. This may replace this with a new visualization. Okay, so just by holding the container instead of actually using, i.e. drinking from the container.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Change the tier 1 purifier available to be smaller to match design suggestions. So you can't put 100 charcoal in it, but you can only put 25 in it. Something to that extent, I reckon.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Updating audio behavior for purifiers tier 2 to 4 to be consistent. Not currently working as expected. Needs to be checked if generator state is working. Again, tier 2 to 4 purifiers. Fixing Niagara effects being in the wrong place on the tier 2.
Definitely tier 3.
Yeah. Correcting deploy audio cues for water purifiers. You know, if you put something down, everything has its own audio. T4 purifier now fills containers based on the flow rate of the purifier, and water flow will become idle if there are no objects for the purifier to fill. One thing to keep
Yes.
in mind, by the way, definitely the tier 4 purifier is filling multiple vessels parallel.
Yeah.
So you
That's
have
yeah.
a water flow rate coming into the purifier
Hmm.
of say something like 500 input. You have 4 vessels in, it means the fill rate for each vessel will be 125.
Yeah.
If one is completely full and the other 3 are still filling, they will increase to 167.
Yeah, it's a good question. If you actually put like a completely empty, half empty,
Yeah,
and
it will.
near full, it'd be like click, click, click kind of thing. So yeah.
According to the Discord, where they were actually discussing this, yes, it will.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about the tier 3 one, whether it does it parallel or in serial, like the
I,
oxide dissolvers. The oxide dissolvers does
it
it
should be
like
parallel. It should be
one
parallel, but I
after
just don't.
another.
Actually, it's a good question.
I
It should
know
be
I know for a
parallel,
fact the definitely the tier 2 oxide dissolver was filling up
one by one. I know.
the oxygen tanks one by one,
Left to
so
right. I know. I know.
serial. The electric one, tier 4, biofuel, sorry, tier 3,
Yeah.
metal oxide dissolver does the same, filling up
Yeah.
serial. So the tier 3 purifier might also fill up the water vessels
Serial.
serial.
Uh,
The tier
yeah. I
4
mean,
one does do it parallel though. This
yeah.
based on Discord,
But that's
it is doing
but
it
there's a
parallel. And
yeah.
based on the patch notes here.
But
Yeah.
you're forgetting just normal plain physics. You have to deal with a compression action when it comes down to the tier 3, which means, yes, you would want to spend energy to compress air into tank,
When
yes.
it comes to
But
oxide dissolvers, yes.
yes, but then when you're just having water in a bucket above a small container and you want to put water above
True.
into the water below, you pull plug, you pull plug, you pull plug, the water's going to drain very quickly. And then you're going to wait for the trickling of the thing to come out. So it might even be a toggle on off, maybe even that would be pretty cool. Like you
I
can
don't
actually
know.
say, oh, fill up one, or I would put mine on, and then you will just turn mine off, and then I'll turn it on, and I'll turn your one off, and then I'm gonna turn my one on, and then you're gonna turn mine off, and then I'll turn yours on or off, kind of thing. So you're fighting to get who's ever continuing full. So that would be pretty fun mini game.
But yeah,
Not a bad idea.
the tier 3 one might do it in series. I don't know for sure. The tier 4 one does do it parallel. And it will thus split the inflow rate evenly over the containers it's actually filling.
But it should with the tier 3. But yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting to
I'd
see.
have to check that, so can't say
Yeah,
anything about the tier 3. The tier 4, according to Discord and to the patch notes here, is parallel.
yeah, should. Still
Updating the
far.
way that actors in world can be filled up with a new water alteration system. For example, the no longer when swimming. Unlock the water purifiers, remove the devlock. Split tier 1 water purifier to ground and water as separate deployables rather than a single deployable with variations. It's a slight tweak for the recipes as well.
Yeah, it
So
just causes confusion.
it's
If you
not
have the
that
fact that
you craft one and then you press R
radio, yeah,
to
no.
select which variation. No, you either craft a ground one or you craft a water one. Okay,
Yeah, it'll
check.
be causing way too much complication if they did it the radial menu way.
I
So
don't
no.
know. I mean, now you can have different recipes for crafting it.
Yeah, but it's just, it's like, it says, how do I create the thing? And then people have Google posts,
Yep,
and then you
like,
push R
yeah,
because people, yeah, come on. That's really
sure.
just make it right and keep it simple, stupid. So yeah.
Added water plane to the tier 1 ground water purifier. Cool. Fixed fill container with alteration nodes from having an old item data that is no longer used. Good. So it doesn't need to be calculated no more either. Split functionality of drinking and filling containers from water source to 2 separate interactables.
Yep.
Drinking and filling, yeah, makes sense. Updated honey tea to the new water consumable system. Moved the purifier tier 4 to the deployables folder instead of the base content folder. Water in the water slot now applies temperature modifier to player. So now you can put your thermos in the water slot of your suit.
Ooh, the next line.
Removed cooling modifiers from being hard-coded on all canteens. Yes, it's no longer on the canteen. It is now on the liquid.
Yes, but technically, water should still cool you down slightly.
Yes, but it is on the liquid now.
Yes, but the way I read that was that you won't be having the cooling effect on any of, like, if the canteen that we're currently drinking, which is the normal canteen of water that we have had for who knows how
Mm-hmm.
long, most
Mm-hmm.
likely. If we were to go into the desert, we wouldn't get our cooling from it.
We were getting the cooling modifier
We
from
were,
the
yes,
canteen.
yes,
Now we will get it from the water. So
but
we
it's
will
not
still
cold,
have
it's lukewarm.
the cooling modifier, but it's
You
no longer
sure?
coming from the canteen, but is now coming from the drink.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean because it's not a hot drink, it's just a normal drink.
Exactly.
But I would imagine a cooling modifier to come from icy cold drink. Like you
Uh,
add ice into
Now,
it.
if you drink, you get this little 15 seconds or what is it?
I know, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, it came from the canteen
Yes,
and was applied upon drinking. It no
yes,
longer comes from the canteen, but from the liquid. In the
yes.
canteen before we had normal water. Now you drink normal water, so no change
Okay,
there.
yeah, so we don't have chilled water yet. We just have normal water and hot water.
There was chilled water, which gave you, I don't know, maybe it was some extra modifier, or actually no, it didn't go in a canteen. It went into a thermos. The
No, but no, if you
hot
put ice
drinks,
into, yeah.
the hot drinks came in a thermos. That's for sure. You couldn't do it in a canteen.
No, I know, that's correct. But I'm just saying that you basically have two states of water temperature, normal water and hot water. You don't really have chilled water
There
there.
is a chilled water one somewhere, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, hence my concern that you'll actually remove the cooling, but we can move on. It's fine.
But now I'm thinking, I haven't used it, but didn't you need a thermos for this as well?
Yeah, there was one to keep things technically
And
cold. Yeah,
if you drank it from a thermos, it was already on the liquid and not on the vessel.
yeah, that's partially true as well. Yeah, 'cause like I said, it's like there is a chilled drink because if you think about it, you've got your deep freezer, right? Which
Yeah,
is the freezer, which is
which
full of ice.
yeah,
So you could put your canteen in the freezer and it becomes chilled and it just becomes much more cooling. So that when you go into blazing, scorching volcano land, then you have ice cold water, which is like, oh,
mm.
this is much
You
better.
need an insulated vessel for that, and the canteen is not
A
insulated.
thermos? No, no, correct. You need a thermos.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm referring
then
to.
you poured a cold drink in a thermos. You don't cool the thermos, now you put cold drink in a thermos. So there will be no changes.
Well, you could put ice in a thermos. You just take a chunk of ice and shove it in there, and it's like, there you go.
Ice chips, yeah. But,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this removing
Anyway,
cooling modifier from being hard coded and all can
yeah,
this
yeah.
is not gonna change anything functionally or at least visibly. Like in the
Okay.
background, obviously, the modifiers are now on the drinks and no longer hard-coded on the canteens.
I got it.
Added display of alterating causing the modifier for water. Okay. Fixing priority alteration replacement code is it wasn't replacing the old alterations, so you could have a coffee, cocoa, or honey alterations all in one drink.
Oh, that sounds cool. I would like my cup of coffee, cocoa, and honey, which is good. That sounds
Well,
good to me.
there
That's
there
it's
is
actually
coffee with cocoa in a lot of
it's a
coffee machines.
chocochino, a chocochino. It's called a
Yeah.
chocochino with honey. Yeah, a chocochino of honey. That sounds exactly what I drink. There's nothing wrong with this. Bring this back. This should exist.
You can always put a feature upvoting. Feature request and feature
Yeah,
upvote.
I would like my chocochino, please. Thank you.
When adding water to canteens, the cooling drink alteration is now added to the liquid.
Yeah.
This is being replaced when tea or cocoa etc. is added via crafting. So you canteen with water, chuck it in the campfire with some cocoa beans, it makes it into cocoa. So the cooling drink modifier on the liquid turns into a hot tea or hot cocoa.
Ah, so they actually removed the requirement that you need the thermos in order to make
Looks
canteen.
like, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Is this
Now,
specifically only possible on the new Prometheus canteen, the one that's got the heated
that
thingy
is
bogey?
actually only for only usable in. I believe it's like insulated, so it
Yeah,
doesn't cool you down that much.
yeah. It's actually for it's the
More,
heat one. It's the
yeah.
one that's the opposite of what we thought was going to be useful.
It's the heated one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the heated one. That's what I'm saying. So it's just they've sort of really. I think there's going to be some small tweaking on the system still, basically.
Yeah, I reckon. Because that is definitely on the canteen.
Yeah, and that was the purpose of that
Yeah.
thing, which was the new
So
shiny.
yeah, so, but remove the cooling mod. Maar the heat, the hot drink or the heating
Yeah,
up
but
is
you can make a hot
also
drink
a
with the
cooling modifier.
normal canteen, which is the metal one.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
it's like a cooling modifier with a negative cooling effect. So
I
heating
can't
up.
even how diff it was
Yes,
pretty
good one.
it was pretty interesting because I remember making a thermos because you also consume
No,
you really
you did
consumed
not.
the
No,
thermos,
no, no,
didn't you?
you did not know. But it was one
You
drink only.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the making a thermos was not a very light task. It was
No,
actually quite
the
a bit of
thermos was
resources.
okay to make. It's
It
more
wasn't just
that.
one steel ignorant. It was something else,
No,
if
but
I
you
remember
needed like
correctly.
50 coffee beans for one coffee. And
Oh
you
yeah,
drink
yeah,
it
yeah. It
once
was.
and it's
Oh
gone.
yeah,
So it was never
yeah. You're right.
really
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was the
But
quantity, not
now
yeah,
they changed it to sipping instead of drinking,
yeah, yeah.
and I
No,
believe they
sure.
also did something.
Yeah,
But we probably will see it in the patch notes. I believe they also did something with the recipes. Now
yeah,
it will actually become interesting again. But yeah,
yeah.
fixing issues where alterations on items were restricted unintentionally to only apply one modifier instead of many.
Hmm.
So you have an alteration with like less durability reduction and on my gun like a scope. So I know the scope part works, but the other alterations, did they actually work? Which is sometimes hard to check.
Yeah. I mean, I saw, for example, just randomly thought, oh, I'll just have a canteen with purified water and a canteen with what's it called? With treated water, so I have 25% stamina
That
consumption.
one, no, it's not gonna work that way because it's
Yeah,
basically
the same buff. It's the
the
water buff.
same
I know.
buff,
I
the
know.
water
Yeah,
buff,
I know.
yeah.
But that was what the collision I was referring to. So, but yeah, anyway.
Drinking water from the shoot slot now applies the correct effectiveness number to the modifier. Uh, tainted versus rain versus filtered for the dysentery chance, or more prominent, the filtered versus pure. No, the I'm gonna scroll up. I wanna see the names. Filtered versus treated versus purified for the 0, 10, 15% water consumption and
Mm-mm,
stamina consumption. If you drink it from the shoot slot.
mm-mm.
Good. Adjusting water purifier tier 2 granted alterations. It definitely must be the tier 3 then. Because the tier 2 basically has no alterations.
Mm,
It's like no buffs, no debuffs.
mm-mm.
Adjusting the flow rate for purifiers. Tea, cocoa, etc. now last 300 seconds, but the item is no longer a one use. You can now sip.
Yeah.
On easy difficulty, remove damage from wind
Yeah.
turbines, as said before, but also negative
Clogging
weather effects
wheels.
from
Yeah.
generators and water devices. So negative weather effects on generator and water devices are also removed. The clogging from water wheels is removed.
Mm,
And they halve the negative weather effects from solar panels.
that's not too bad, but yeah.
Again, it's easy mode. You want to play it easy,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sure, I can understand. Tier 4 water purifier now goes into an idle state when not filling canteens, and this will no longer use water and electricity.
Mhm.
Drinking from water bodies now grants the cooling buff for 300 seconds,
Oh,
even when you drink from the thermal pools in the volcanic area.
oh yeah, that's nice and cool, isn't it? Like,
It will still give you the cooling buff.
oh, didn't you know, Conrad, that the easiest way to cool off during a hot day is to drink a cup of coffee because it'll just make you sweat like a crazy person, and that cools you down. Yeah,
Well,
perfect logic.
it's interesting when you sit in a thermal pool, your body temperature in Icarus, and in real life as well, it will rise. So your environment temperature in Icarus will go up when you're in a geothermal pool. And if you stay in it too long, you will overheat.
You
Yet
should,
when
yeah.
you drink from it, you will cool down. So you can
Ah,
stay in the pool as long as you keep drinking from the pool.
yep, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bah, funny detail. The tier 2 purifier now only fills fillable component through generator. Fillable component now fills containers. Reparented purifier to match the tier 4 against tier 3.
And this is
Through through
the
generator. Didn't they say a couple of bullet points above there was no generator component?
right tier 3 purifier now only fills the fillable component through.
The processing component, sorry. Yeah, they removed the
Yeah, yeah.
processing component.
I'm guessing.
And this is and fills fillable through generator component. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But the next line is my whole theory obliterated.
Kitchen sink now provides the correct alterations when filling containers. The question is, what are the correct alterations? Well, actually, I think this is the tainted versus
Yeah,
rainwater.
that's the thing exactly. That's what I also think it's meaning. So it does.
So
So the kitchen
tainted,
sink does take an effect the source
yeah,
basically.
tainted when you have at least one water pump in your water
Yeah.
network. The
Hmm.
rainwater is when you only have rain
Rain.
catchers in your network and no water
That's
pumps.
a lot of rain catches that you would need to have in your network. Unless, like I said, you just have to
Well,
create a separate water network for your kitchen sink. That's it.
here's the thing. A rain catcher can smelt ice into water.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a rain catcher inside, so it will never catch any
Can you?
rainwater, you can.
It's the same as
I
the.
actually have one in the kitchen
Yeah,
in my open world.
yeah,
I can chuck ice in it. It will
yeah.
melt the ice. It will produce
That's
water
correct.
from the
Yeah,
ice.
yeah, yeah.
What will be the modifier on that water?
It'll just be rainwater because ice is rain.
Is it? It is
Well,
generated
unless it
in
comes
my
from your
freezers.
freezer. No, but that was that.
Exactly.
So this. Oh, so now you're saying what is the source of my frozen water?
So if I grab ice from the freezer I check it in the rain catcher I
Oh
have
wait,
inside
wait
the
a
base,
second.
so it will
You're
never
right,
ever catch
because
rain.
it's condensated ice.
Exactly. What will be the
Ah,
water type produced by this rain catcher?
conden. Oof. Con.
It
Conden.
will. It should be at
Con.
least filtered.
It should, yeah. That's correct. It should technically. Well, would yeah, because it tastes garbage.
At least
Ice,
filtered.
ice.
This is like pure war.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's a good question because I know if you took like a shovel when you go to the icy places, or you've picked up ice in the polar
Yeah.
or the ice tundras, then that's obviously just like, dirty water. It's
Yeah.
ice water. It's not going to be it's going to be rainwater at best. Basically, it's not going to be filtered
But then again, now we are talking about
because
Icarus.
that's just normally letting it melt. And obviously, if you've boiled
Condensed.
it,
So the ice generated in the freezer, it
yeah,
basically takes the moisture from the air,
yeah, but that's exactly what I just said.
and which is the same as rain.
Exactly, but that's also what I'm sort of thinking about. So
So
it's going to be
here on
rain at
Earth,
best.
it would be like the at least the filtered water, but on
Mm,
Icarus, it should be the rainwater.
mm, well, I would
Something to
still,
keep in mind when thinking about this. Yeah, hold on, you're on an alien planet where apparently even moisture in the air, i.e. rain, etc., has some weird stuff in it. Let's put it
yeah,
that way. So a standalone rain catcher, which you purely fill with ice, should still give the rainwater modifier.
yeah, that's
Okay.
basically what I would guess. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
because
Sometimes I think too much about things.
yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it's a good point though because the ice in the freezer is like uh, uh, condensed. What? No, what's the word? What's the word? It's not condensed. It's
Uh, Frozen.
no, no. But
Sublimated, actually.
yeah. But either way,
Sublimate
yeah,
is going from gas directly to solid state
yeah.
without going through the liquid. No, sorry, it's the other way around. It's solid to. Is it solid to gas? I don't know. It's too
Well,
long ago
regardless,
since I
that's
had
fine. Yeah, yeah.
chemistry in school. Way too long
But
ago.
yeah, regardless, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just yeah, because the other thing is that yeah, it's ice, so you
Anyway.
can probably you could put the ice now basically to use because you can have a rain catcher inside, or yeah, a rain catcher inside
Yeah.
the house, which is coupled up on its own network to the kitchen sink, and you just chuck ice inside of it because
Yeah.
your freezers are constantly full of ice. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway. Continuing, Tier 2 water input is now done by the last resource flow rate rather than inputting the desired water as an input. Sorry.
that's the
The
tier three
water
water input.
input is now done
Yeah,
by the last resource flow rate rather than inputting the desired water as an input. Ah, okay, so the input flow rate is decided by the network, what the network can provide, rather than what the purifier requires. Okay,
could be, yeah.
and this stops empty network filling fillable.
They've really messed up all the T2, tier 4, tier 3.
Yep.
It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Because the next one I swear is tier 4 and not tier 2.
T2 water purifier now only activates its generator and water network when required to fill
Oh, no,
itself
that's
up.
probably the tier 3. Yeah, that's correct
Tier
because of
3.
the container. Yeah, so it stops when it's full, which is not really the way it would work normally, but okay. Well, I could
Yeah,
technically. I could.
it could overflow if you put too much water on the input side.
Yeah, true. But it's like like the water dog bowls where you have
Yeah,
the 2 liter bottle on its head, which is miles above, and it doesn't obviously let any water out because it's a sealed. It's the head is under the water, so it
Yeah, but
doesn't.
don't forget, looking back, if you think back about the picture of the tier 3
No,
purifier,
this is way more. I know that would overflow, in my opinion. There wasn't a
exactly.
lot. What actually? No, let's go back.
It
I'm gonna
is
take a
it
look at
is
the picture.
open at the top.
Yeah,
The
it
the
is open.
input container is open at the top,
Uh, yeah, it would just
so
overflow. The
it
looks
would
of it. Yeah,
overflow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, tier 2 water purifier now fills up its container with water without needing to be on.
That tier
If it's
three. Yeah,
not using electricity, there's no need to be on.
yeah. There's tier three. Yeah,
Also on from a water network perspective, as long as it has the filtered water or now man, I should write
tier
down those
three.
levels.
Yeah,
If it's the treated water, as long as the treated water container has some water in it, it should be filling up, even when the water network cannot provide any water to the in vessel. So yeah, makes sense.
okay. Yeah,
Fix tier 1 water purifiers being unable to be picked up. Oops. Yeah.
yeah.
Your player will no longer always drink while swimming. And actually, this was only
Makes
fixed
sense as
in
well.
this update.
Yeah. Well, the question now is that whether or not the player will still drink while swimming,
No.
as in from the canteen.
From the canteen, yes.
That's the thing,
That should.
because you would still be drinking whilst you're swimming.
Yeah. But no longer from the surrounding water.
Yeah, but I'm reading. I'm explicitly. I'm being a dumb nut and
For
saying
that, I
that
would need
no.
to
This.
grab a character with a fire suit with a water slot,
Yeah,
and then I could test it out. But
yeah. That's the thing.
I'm
Yeah.
98, 99% sure you will still be drinking from your canteen, but
Did
no
you
longer
switch your
from the
farming
surrounding water.
to? Did you switch your farming character to a
No,
full slotter?
no, my
Okay.
main.
Yeah, yeah, I need the main. Okay.
Okay,
So fixes.
fixes. Fix a race condition crash when showing tooltips, which could cause crashes.
Hmm.
Okay, good fix. Tidy up the Olympus Forest scan and Olympus Forest research quests where the quest equalizers was failing and performing fallback. Good for fixing up those missions. Landshark now grants relevant XP and loot. Fix killed Landshark not being destroyed and death was being
They
hidden.
didn't,
Talked about this above.
but they didn't say anything about a land shark vestry, right?
Exactly.
So exactly what's going to drop is another
I
question.
have not seen anything about Landshark trophies in the trophy bench either. So
Exactly.
wolves no longer howl every time. Talked about a bit above. Go up NPCs now show an icon above their head when eating or drinking. Similar to the alert icon. Okay. But what will be the use of this? Will they like pay less attention to the environment whilst eating or drinking?
That makes sense because you do.
So
Or deers
you
or
sneak up
animals.
on a deer and you're like, okay, now it's actually starting to drink, so now I can get a little bit closer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's nice though,
That's that's how you would hunt. Yeah.
but then it might like pollute your screen a bit more, especially in an area with more animals. But we'll see.
It's probably a small icon.
Similar to the alert icon, the yellow eye or the exclamation mark.
Yeah, it could be right next to it to somewhere else. I would actually imagine it to be closer to the head, but
So I'd say instead of.
depends if you're sneaking. He has his eye because in his alert level, and then oh, I go drinking, which you're keeping an eye on the eye anyway, so
Yeah,
it's just
but
next to it, so it's not that bad.
I'd say as soon as he is like, hey, am I seeing something? He's gonna stop drinking and start looking around. Hence the
Yeah.
drinking icon changing to the eye icon. But
Uh, yeah, but his alert level could still, based upon your movement, go up and down. So it's not so
hmm,
much him seeing something, it's an alert level icon. So alert level
well,
is low
if it
or
has seen
non-existent or
you,
empty.
it changes to the exclamation mark, the red icon.
Yeah, correct. But when it doesn't see you, it's obviously filling up yellow,
Yeah,
and then orange, and then red, and then it's just obviously alert. I don't
yellow
know.
and then red. Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
we will see. We'll see.
yeah.
Adding in fur culling masks to clean up the Tuskar and zebra saddles only apply to the basic saddle at the moment. Again, not something we have already, so meh. Item tooltips now use a single shared tooltip. Makes sense, consolidate your code. Add a step to the bottom of the concrete stairs to match other stair assets, mainly to prevent a gap in certain instances. I've seen examples of this, yeah. So this is just the visual mesh which has changed. Deep cleanup of API exports to free up link objects. Okay. While BI is not granted experienced, mentioned
Mhm.
above. Wait until at least one player has landed before beginning quest setup on missions, as opposed to operations. Uh, yeah, well on the other hand, I mean, what's the problem if it starts the
No,
quest
Saul's,
setup
yeah,
whilst the first one is still dropping down? I mean, Saul only
exactly, because
starts
Saul,
talking when the
well,
first player, for each player actually, when it exits the pod.
no, isn't it? No, Saul sometimes starts talking on your way down, isn't it?
No,
No?
no, only when you land. I don't recall ever having Saul talking whilst still dropping down.
I swear he was talking sometimes when you were on the way down.
There, he talks for every character, for every player, separately.
Yes, yeah, I know.
So
And hence,
if you're watching a stream whilst playing and you have the audio on, you might hear Saul
yeah,
talking for the other player whilst you're still on the way down, or vice versa.
I know what you mean. I know that's common sense. My brain is sort of still functioning, but it's just like I'm pretty sure. Uh, I know. Wait, you're right. It could be that it just. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that always sitting quiet and a shuttle going down hasn't always been the case.
Uh, I don't recall an instance where Saul was talking whilst I'm still dropping down.
Okay. All right. All right.
Anyway. Added option to set resource storage devices as inflow only. I reckon the water source vessels and batteries. Reduce importance of wolf howl vocalization to default rather than important to prioritize flinch and death higher than howl. Okay. Fix a rare crash reported in Sentry relates to flammable async tasks and sampling the environment temperature. Okay. Fix DT not saving. Another rare crash report in Sentry retrieving quest description. Some dependency cleanups. Yet another rare crash reported in Sentry relating to compass widget ticking. Okay. Wire tree restore prototype to clean up cut branches as well as burnt cut branches. Uh, tree restore prototype.
It's maybe
Ah,
the growing and chopping down and planters.
or is this the device they're working on which you can use to regrow trees?
Could be. Oh, that thing. Yeah, you're right.
We'll see. Also, an autocomplete typo has been fixed. Autocomplete and autocorrect here, the biggest sources of typos.
Yep. I
Right.
don't use it.
Rarely either. Fall back to any dropship group when a group cannot be found. Um, what do I recall having seen in dropship related problems? Nothing I could link to this actually, but sure. Fixed dropship fallback fix is preventing resume when dead. So the dropship fallback fix above is preventing resume from that, which now has been fixed.
Yes.
Thanks
The
for
fix has
fixing the
been
fixes.
fixed.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
And then our favorite part, future content.
Yeah.
Yeah, more racing settle art assets to the projects.
I used Jira. Oh my god, why?
I don't know. That's what I use. Ice Sheet Story 1. Yep, the one to unlock our... So, I reckon this is the missions to unlock the next part of
Yeah,
the southern part
that's
of
also related
Prometheus.
to the satellite thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow, in the back of my head, I was thinking about a volcanic area.
And now it's the opposite.
Now it says ice sheet. How more
Well,
different could it be?
well, I don't know. Maybe it's like a combination of like different zones you have to traverse blindly. I
Maybe,
have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
But then again, ice sheet, low visibility, blizzards, fog.
Attack audio. Adding Kiwi idle whoosh, like the sound as like air, like
Yeah.
whooshing past you because it's a giant thing and it's attacking you. With the
So,
attack audios. Yes.
in contrast to the original Kiwi, this one is actually gonna fight back. Cool.
Well, it's a 4 meter tall, two-legged avian bird. So yes, it's going to attack. Unless, yeah, I would imagine maybe it was a bit passive, but like a
It was a
mammoth.
bit passive,
Yeah, like a mammoth.
like a dodo.
Yeah, well, no, like a mammoth,
Mammoth
basically.
will still
So,
fall back, attack back,
yeah, no, but that's the
fight back.
thing. Therefore it does need an attack animation, but it's passive.
Yeah, but like a dodo, he didn't even fight back, and I reckon the key was the same. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. You got like muskrats that sort of bark and chip and like pretend they're gonna
Well,
bite, or probably would bite you.
we will see.
Yeah.
Adding cryogenically frozen chicken and sheep workshop entries. When deployed,
Yeah,
these will spawn a
because
chicken at the location. So
yeah,
cryogenically frozen cryo sleep.
I
Then again,
mean,
yeah, how else are you gonna travel out to the far reaches of
and bring
space?
chickens. Well,
But yeah,
you might finally answer the question: which one came first, the chicken or the egg? So yeah,
I don't know. Are we taking down a frozen chicken or are we taking down a frozen egg?
yeah, probably the chicken. So the chicken came first, and yeah,
Hmm.
that's correct. Actually, that's still my answer to that whole discussion to begin with. At a
Uh,
certain point,
I'm,
something was came into existence which laid an egg, and
I'm
therefore,
still of the opinion that a chicken is the way for one egg to produce another egg.
yeah, okay.
Anyway, uh, adding extra spawn zones for the extended Prometheus map, including 2 new alpha zones for spawning control. Cool.
Oh, snare trap,
2 alpha
hitching
zones.
post,
Oh yeah, hitching post and hitching rope. Yay! So we
snare
can
traps.
prevent
Yeah,
our animals from running around. Now,
yeah,
every time when I come back from a trip with my moa and then I go into the base and I come back and then my moa
you
has
find
run to one of the food troughs or water troughs and I have
yes,
to like, where the heck did my moa go? Which one is my moa?
yes,
But then again, a hitching post and hitching rope make them long enough or place your food and water troughs close enough to the hitching post so they can still eat and drink. This actually will be easier once we have water troughs which you can hook up to the water network.
mm,
And then you can like place a hitching post with food trough on one side, food and water trough on one side, and put your animals on the other side, and like hooking them up. But then again, when the animals go from water to food and vice versa, what will this do to the hitching ropes? Will they get entangled and stuff? Again,
yeah.
sometimes I think too much.
It'll probably no, no, it'll probably be just like it'll the hitching post will just be a oh, it'll move within a 3 meter radius of
Yeah.
this post. So therefore, if there's water or food or bed, then good, or else it's going to starve or die of thirst or sleep deprivation. So yeah, that's one of the three. So you need to make sure that you basically build. smart designed sort of things for animals if you intend to use the posts.
I think I am gonna, cause I had them all group around one food trough, and then they were trying to reach a food trough, and then I was in my basic, constantly hearing the footsteps of the animals like walking in place, trying to get to the food trough. They couldn't reach it, and then they were starving and they were dehydrated and everything. It's
Yep.
basically what you should do is like put a food trough and a water trough right next to one another and put pairs, dot pairs around your pen.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least that way the animals should kind of spread out a little bit more.
well, I mean, yeah, there's no actual social aspect of the animals yet. At some point, it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to introduce that. Because, for example, oh, I'm a lonely mower. I don't have any other mower friends to be mowing about around with, so therefore I'm
No, but
lonely and sad.
what they currently do is like they go to the closest food trough to eat.
Yeah,
From there
correct.
they go to the closest water
Yeah,
trough to drink. Then they
simple
go back to
pathing.
the closest food trough.
Hmm.
Even when they can't reach it because it's surrounded with other mountains, they don't
A
go to
building.
the food trough, which is like 5 foot further, and which has a lot of food and no animals around. No, they all start and try to get to that one food trough.
Yeah, it's narrow. It's simplistic pathing. You see that
Yeah,
when they walk through spiked walls
yeah.
towards the thing. So yeah, we've seen it.
Anyway, no, the Kiwa BP has now the correct Kiva montage instead of the mobile ones.
Yeah, because
Good.
riding a 4 meter tall kiwi is way cooler than riding a mower. Yeah.
Exactly. Icy Story updated the final quest step to allow a bit more player freedom and mystery. Are we getting some like dynamic quest step instead of the
Where is
same for
this?
everyone? Directly underneath the adding correct Kiva montages. Montages.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Is it gonna
Icy
be
sheet story.
more dynamic, like procedurally generated ish?
Yeah, but
Ish.
that was the whole point, wasn't it? Because we talked about the fact that look, it needs to be something that would be like a random thing that you have to track down in order to sort of unlock a point in order to move to the next one. Because if it would just be, oh, we know where to go,
Yeah.
I'll remember the way, and we just run there rather than, yeah,
Yeah.
we
There's
ran there and then, oh, it's not there anymore. Oh, we have to actually use the mechanics which were put in place to actually find the randomness
yeah.
and,
I like the randomness
and
part. It makes it more.
and
Huh?
and also about the fact that look, you can also maybe spend more time to find certain special things, like oh, you found I don't know some sort of derelict ship which had something which or a rare exotic plant which was giving off the signals which then allows you to unlock something further down the line, something which because it's probably scanning for some sort of frequency or something, and you suddenly discover, oh, there is a Scorpion King den. Oh, now I'm suddenly facing three Scorpion Kings at the same time. Kind of, nonsense. But yeah, it's not a bad idea. Dynamicness is good.
Yeah, definitely.
But it is ice sheet, so there's definitely ice sheets.
Yeah. Added outpost base and spawning. So
Hunting
yep,
rifle. Hunting rifle.
and a pistol.
Yeah. The Czech hunting rifle. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
oh, and the shotgun as well.
Yeah, but the shotgun was previous.
Yeah.
Now we're getting the pistol and the hunting
Yeah.
rifle.
Which faction is CHAC?
The Czech.
Yeah.
That's the spaceship one.
Yeah, but like Lachlan Martinez, Neves.
No, it'll probably be the bolt action. Oh, that's
No,
hunting
no, no.
rifles. So yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
hunting rifle.
So
The
this
check is
C,
check.
yeah, the check is like, is this like new faction? This is gonna, or a new supplier, or might be a new supplier, like Lachlan Martinez is supplier. Neves, sorry, Inaris. Neves pickaxe from Inaris. Inaris
Yeah,
is a supplier. Maybe CHAC is going to be another supplier.
Well, it's probably
Possible.
maybe possibly coming with this new expansion, so maybe it is a new company that sort of wants to make a new name for themselves, and they need really adventurous, experienced
Yeah.
prospectors to lead the charge and go forth where no man or woman has gone before. So
I don't think we have hunting rifles yet in the workshop. We have the do we have the
no, we
shotgun?
don't.
No, we don't
No,
have a shotgun
no.
at
The
all.
shotgun is the check as well. The
Yeah,
shotgun is going to be a check. The pistol is going to be a check. The hunting rifle is a check.
yeah.
So this is all
So
new for a new faction.
we
It's not
have
going
no
to be coming.
firearms in the workshop yet
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
We
No.
have like the best is crossbow.
Yeah, that's not
No
really the
fire.
best. The Larkov
The
Infinite
best
bow is the
in
best.
the let me rephrase the best in the workshop is crossbow. But apparently we're
Uh,
gonna get firearms as well.
the closest to a firearm in the workbench is a crossbow, yes, but we are getting
In the work
firearms
in the
because
workshop space.
workshop. Sorry, yeah, shop. But we already know this because of
Uh,
the shotgun. There
yeah,
was a
but
TA.
yeah, but
There's
there
a
isn't a space shotgun yet.
not yet, but that's what's going to
Yeah,
come eventually. But this
yeah,
is expanding that eventually to not only be a shotgun, which was my complaint, it's also going to be a hunting rifle and a pistol,
yeah.
which is good. A flinching animation, yeah, because if it's a 4 meter tall bird, it has to obviously have like flinching animations. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Proposed added added companion talent icons and companion modifiers. Well, companions were discussed last week already.
Yeah.
Uh, Added eating and attraction icons for creatures. Attraction.
Oh, yeah.
Might be with the whole.
The bone and the carcass and
No,
the yeah, there
no,
was
no,
that
no.
whole thing, wasn't
Attraction
it?
icons for creatures.
Yeah.
This might be for if it would have said mounts, I'd definitely say this is the Leica update.
No, but this is
This
related
is
to the
creatures.
the corpse. Remember that we had the one thing where it would
That
show
one,
that
yeah.
a corpse would
Okay, it
show
is attracting.
things are, yeah, attract. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
But eating and attraction icons would indicate that they are both like the same type. And the eating, we
yeah,
just said the eating is going to be the like you will have eating, drinking, and
yeah.
alerted or alerting and alerted,
Well, remember
where they're
the
still alive.
of course because that's what happens.
But the
Remember you.
attraction one is on a corpse. This is a whole different type.
No. Wolf is going somewhere. He is being attracted by the smell of a corpse, which therefore means that he is beelining
Okay. Yeah, sure.
towards the corpse
Okay, that in that
and
way around,
then
yeah.
consumes corpse by switching state to eating. And
Yeah.
therefore, that's the situation.
Okay.
So chicken bestiary stats, cleaned out of development creature stats to ensure that none are copy paste on release, which yeah, having a mammoth sized kiwi is not going to be a bad thing, but you know what I'm saying. And bestiary data for
Seven. Yeah.
7 new creatures. So that's sheep, chicken,
Kiwi.
kiwi,
Mange wolf.
ghost crocodile,
Ghost crocodile. Mini hippo.
the mini hippo, yeah.
And we're missing one.
Um,
Mange alpha
the
wolf maybe.
rabbit. It was a rabbit, wasn't it?
We already have the rabbit.
I already have. Oh, you already have rabbits. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe the alpha mange wolf, although one could say it is a variation upon the mange wolf.
What was it? What was that? Just, chicken.
So chicken, sheep, kiwi.
Yeah. No, but there was another one, wasn't it? Chicken, sheep. Yeah, chicken, sheep.
Chicken and
Yeah,
sheep.
chicken, sheep,
We have
kiwi.
the kiwi. We have the
Yeah,
mange wolf.
yeah. We have the ghost crocodile.
Ghost
That's
crocodile.
5.
The mini hippo.
I mean, that's 6. So you are missing one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, missing one.
We will see at some point.
Probably I saw a unique animal of some sort. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And then setting up the shotgun and rifle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way, the rifle could be the hunting or the bolt action, but
No, well, I think it's the hunting because it's because you're not going to have the luxury of having. Well, I mean, well, actually, that's a fair
why not?
point. You
It
know,
could
no,
be the
no,
bolt
you're right.
action, which is
It
a
could be.
cheaper one.
Yeah, because yet again, the bolt action rifle was the competitor to the, shotgun, which had a magazine to begin with. So yeah,
Bolt
technic.
action never had a magazine. Bolt action is basically
No, no,
between the
no.
pistol and a hunting rifle. It's a single shot like pistol, but does do per shot the same amount
Yes,
of damage as the hunting rifle.
but I'm saying tier for tier, the bolt action was comparing or being competed or pitted against the shotgun, which had a magazine. So that's why
Mm,
you always favored the shotgun because the shotgun wasn't
uh,
ever a one shot
well,
reload, one shot like pump action. Or like
uh,
no, pump action isn't
true,
really like a
true.
pump.
Well, I favor the shotgun for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Mainly because I favor the hunting rifle over the bolt action, so I did not like the bolt action.
Well, I thought the bolt action was quite cool, and with my
Oh,
hunters,
it is a good one. It does do a lot of damage. Don't get me
well, I just
wrong.
think it should do more damage. That was the thing. My opinion would have been like, okay, well, it's a bolt action, so its accuracy should have been more accurate. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
You have alterations for better accuracy for guns. Not sure for the
Yeah, which is
definitely
pointless to
for
be
the shotgun.
honest. Yeah, but for the rifle, it's pointless because the rifle
Yeah,
is pinpoint. So bolt action and hunting.
yeah.
Well, I think the hunting does have a little bit less accuracy officially, quote unquote, but actually never made any difference. But yeah, that's pretty much all the things.
Ah, so these were the patch notes. Uh, some nice things to test out. Couple of purifiers. I'm gonna make both the tier 3 and the tier 4 obviously. See what happens when I put the tier 3 indoors.
You know, it would
Uh,
be pretty
oh,
cool if you actually physically took the ice out, right? Because you can see the tier one purifier in the picture, right?
mm-hmm.
Now you can't tell me that you can't put ice just on top of it and then it wouldn't work. So practically speaking, because like I said, you said they could only put it outside.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
it has to be put outside, and I reckon it will not work inside. Same as the smokers, the
oh, all right.
tier 3 smokers. But we'll see. And yeah, I might. I think I'm gonna actually put the kitchen sinks and possibly the kitchen benches on its own separate network, hooked up to one tier 3 rain catcher, which I will fill with ice. So it's at least rainwater and not tainted water. So if I accidentally drink or fill my canteen from there, I only have the 5% chance for the dysentery debuff instead of the 15.
That's
Talking
not that
about
bad.
dysentery, at some point I saw people were testing this out on experimental, and then they got the dysentery, and this had like this nice icon on the character. So they took the tonic, so it actually the pill. So it cured the dysentery and prevents you for X amount of time from getting dysentery again.
Oh
However,
yeah.
that icon remained on the character, and they've responded to this like, yeah, this means that as soon as the pill stops working, when that modifier times out, there is a chance you will be getting dysentery again, which in turn made me wonder. Something I didn't ask in Discord. I was quickly reading through it, but it does make me wonder how then do I get rid of this uh, modifier on my character, or will I have from now to in eternity have to keep eating those pills?
Good question.
Yep.
Usually it just passes
Uh,
through, but
and as long as I don't know how to cure, I rather not test it with my main character.
Well, just, I mean, you're gonna have to do the swimming test anyway. So
So,
just use your farming character, I think. Because it's still on the prospect, right? Or not really?
yeah, it's still no prospect.
Yeah, just
Uh,
go.
I
I mean,
only fly out when I have no other choice. But I will be doing the bulk of the testing with my main character tonight.
yeah,
And maybe tomorrow or Sunday I'll do some gameplay with my farmer character to test out those last things like the swimming and stuff.
yeah, you could at least set up the network and build the stuff and
Exactly.
test the
I'm
connection and
that's what I'm gonna do with my main character.
yeah, sounds good.
So uh, that means that we are at the end of the patch notes. Uh, so I will be taking a quick break, a couple of minutes, and then I'll come back for some gameplay. Uh, I hope this was informative, useful, etc., and hope you enjoyed it. Uh, other than that, thanks for being here, and I will see you folks around.